Welcome to Meet the Candidates here on WCMU. I'm David Nicholas, and our guest is Kim Coonan, the Democratic candidate for Michigan's 96th House District. The challenger in this race at a district that includes the city of Bay City and also Essexville and 9 Bay County townships. Welcome, sir. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholas.
Wondered if in our first moment you could give us a little bit of background about you, your hometown, and the experience you bring to the campaign.
Well, I was born and raised in Bay City. I retired from Bay City Electric Light and Power as a metering supervisor. I retired from Bay Medical Center as well, so I worked a lot of hours, worked hard my whole life. I've been a county commissioner for 20 years, and after retirement, I purchased or I bought kind of an old business that was somewhat run down, turned it into Coonan's Irish Hub, a very successful restaurant bar.
And with your roots in the area and now the experience through up to the primary and since then with campaigning and talking to potential voters, what are they telling you are the, say, 1 or 2 top issues they are addressing in this campaign?
Well, a lot of the folks that I have talked to, and I've been knocking doors for 18 weeks, there's a number of issues. The economy, and also women's right to choose.
And what specifically, when it comes to the economy, are they saying they're identifying as their concern? And with that also, what would be your proposal to addressing that issue should you be elected and go to Lansing?
Well, one would be inflation, and another would be jobs. And the inflation, as a small businessman, I relate to them that I understand what they're going through. I'm going through it as well. You know, our food prices have dramatically increased 30%. So I feel the pain. And when I get to Lansing, I'm going to work to provide working families more money in their pockets with some tax breaks. And I'm also going to propose legislation to eliminate the pension tax.
And when they refer to inflation, are they identifying that as a problem that they see rooted here in Michigan, or Michigan is feeling the effects with other states as that has come from Washington?
Well, most of them, you know, understand that it is not just a national issue, it's a global issue. So it gives me the opportunity to talk to them and let them know that whether it's gas prices or food prices, it's not something that we can just snap our fingers and all of a sudden things will get better. It's a global issue. You know, after the pandemic with a supply chain problem, we've been experiencing times that we've never experienced before. So I just kind of let them know that it's an issue that we're all going through, and we all need to hang in together, and we'll get through this.
Do you have thoughts on how you would address the local impact of, or do you see a way where locally you could address the supply chain and some of those other infrastructure issues that have been disrupted, first of all, from the pandemic, and now since then with the rate of inflation and other things that have lingered in the economy?
Well, locally, and being that I'm a small businessman, been in business for 11 years, things are getting better. And there's, like I said, there's no quick fix to this. We're all going to have to get through this together. And so things are getting better. Gas is coming down. Food prices are coming down. It's just an issue we're going to have to work through. I'm not going to mislead anybody and have them think that all of a sudden I get elected, we're going to solve all these problems. We're going to get through it. It's an issue that we've been through before, maybe not to this magnitude with the pandemic, but it's something that we all have to hang together, and we'll get through it.
You mentioned specifically also addressing the pension tax. Have voters, or are you identifying any other tax structures or business regulations or regulations on business, I should say, in terms of that regulatory climate as it affects business and economics in the local area that you feel need attention?
Well, I have a restaurant bar. We have there's regulations there, and I think regulations to a certain extent are good. It keeps the public safe in this instance at the bar. So I'm not against regulation. I'm against over regulation, and I think that when somebody mentions regulation, I said, give me an example, or they mention taxes. They want small government. I say, well, give me an example of what small government is. We need to look at this, and I'm not just going to make a statement that I'm going to eliminate this or that. I will look at everything to try to make the lives of Michigan. A lot of people think that Michigan is a high tax state. It's the 11th lowest tax state in the country. So, and we are sitting on 90% of the fresh water in the United States. So going forward, when you look at what's happening down south with a lack of water, this is going to be an area where it's going to be an opportunity for Bay County and the state of Michigan to thrive in the future.
We have experienced, and I know that this region as a whole, based as we are in Mount Pleasant at Central Michigan University, that has seen an awful lot of population loss. As you propose to look at these economic issues, and we see some signs of things turning around, what about the workforce, the training for a potential workforce, and the ability of our K-12 schools to provide that initial training and then post-high school? How does that overall picture look for you in the district that you are visiting and hope to represent?
Well, we need, I'm a believer in a universal pre-K. Instead of getting the kids in school at 5, we get them in at 3, because by the time they're 5 years old, the foundation for their learning is developed by 80%. So by getting the kids into school at an earlier age, a structured school, it provides another opportunity for people to get back into the workforce, because sometimes people, women primarily, can't get back into the workforce because of the cost of childcare. So if you get kids into school at 3 and you provide for them the opportunity to learn, that's going to benefit everyone. Now, trades, the skilled trades, I come from an electrical utility, and I know we have to do more to encourage kids to get into the trades. I think for a number of years, everybody was college, and we kind of forgot about the trades. And there's a shortage of skilled folks that we need to encourage to get into. And I don't have a problem with, we got K through 12. I don't have a problem pre-K to 14, and you give these kids an opportunity at a community school like Delta, and give them a couple of years that would go towards a trade. And we even have the facilities in the high schools to go from 12 to 14 as well. So I think we need to make an investment on the front end, and you get your payoff on the back end. So I don't have a problem with 2 years of an accredited apprenticeship, or 2 years at a local college as well.
Given the disruption that we saw to our education system, and certainly the economy, as we've been talking about, but specifically to the education system as well during the pandemic, are there now things that are lacking at all, things that you think need to be reintroduced, rebuilt, restructured to handle what we hope would be now a restarting, an increase in the demand for this type of training and education?
No, I think we got the infrastructure there. I know Delta College has a great program, and the trades, whatever trade you're going into, a lot of them have in-house training programs. So we just have to encourage um, these students and make them aware of what they can. They can make a heck of a good living in the trades. We just have to direct that effort to make them aware of that. And Delta does a tremendous job, and it's a local school. You can go there and you know rather affordably, and because sometimes you go to college, kids will go to college and they go away to college, and by the time they pay their tuition and their room and board, they leave with hundreds of thousands of dollars, or not hundreds, but thousands of dollars of debt, which is pretty tough for them as well. So
You mentioned also that voters have been telling you about women's rights, the Dobbs decision that came from the U.S. Supreme Court, overturning Roe v. Wade, or sending that issue, we should say, back to the states. What are the voters that you are talking to, the potential voters, saying about that issue and how it is impacting their decision as they get ready to go to the polls?
well, I think it's going to increase the number of voters, young people, women and men as well, because you had a right for 50 years and all of a sudden they took it away from you. And I think that those folks, and just about a great majority of the people out there, I think it's like 70%, did not want to see that overturned. But in Michigan, on the agenda, there is going to be a referendum. And I think that will show the results of what people think. I think people want abortion, or whatever the issue was, whether it was an abortion. Prior to Roe, they had just as many abortions, but they were not done in a safe manner. Roe provided that women would be treated by their doctor in a safe manner. And I think that's all we want, is to make sure that the right to choose is done, and it's done in a safe manner.
And in our last minute, one follow-up on that, are the voters saying that they want a return fully here now at the state level to what Roe provided, or do they see any changes they want to make while still returning that right to women if they so choose?
I believe they want to see Roe brought back and to what it was.
Fully codified then in state law is what you are hearing from the voters that they want to see?
Sure, yes.
Okay. Well, in our last minute then, if you were to take these health issues, economic issues, education issues that we've been talking about, and to bring that all down to one message that you would want to leave with the voters as they get set to go to the polls, what would that message be?
Well, I've been a county commissioner 20 years. I've worked on a lot of things we've accomplished. When I say we, it wasn't just me. We've accomplished a lot of good things in Bay County. I'm going to do the same in Lansing. I'm going to make schools safer for the kids and for the teachers. I think we need to have affordable, quality child care, and that's going to help in the labor market to get women primarily back into the workforce. And I think we need a universal pre-K, and if that includes, from 12 to 14, 2 years in a local community college or apprenticeship program, I'm going to work towards that as well.
Well, we thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us, sir. We wish you best of luck with the rest of the campaign. And again, thanks very much for joining us.
I thank you very much, sir.
We've been speaking with Kim Coonan, the Democratic candidate for Michigan's 96th House District. I'm David Nicholas. Thanks for joining us as well. Remember to get out and cast your vote on Tuesday, November 8th. All qualifying candidates were invited to participate in this series following the redraw of Michigan House, Michigan Senate, and congressional districts. Check with local officials to make sure you are properly registered. Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th.